Greetings everyone. So today I want to talk about the consecration of Russia and the controversy around Sister Lucia, because it's something that came up in the comments sections by one of my viewers, and I want to address it and give my thoughts on that and just generally some of the controversy that surrounds Fatima as an apparition and the secret or the messages that Mary left. But before that, I want to quickly talk about the consecration that took place as I record this video yesterday. Depends when you're watching the video though, but it took place on Friday the 25th of March, where Pope Francis, along with all the bishops of the world, consecrated Russia to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. Now, I have seen comments online from people saying that it wasn't done properly again. I haven't seen any comments suggesting that we don't know if all the bishops took part, that some of the bishops may not have taken part. There's been nothing suggesting that was the issue, but there was something suggesting that the way it was done, i.e. the way it was worded by Pope Francis, wasn't ideal. So I'm going to play the actual clip of Pope Francis in the moment he consecrates Russia and Ukraine, because he kind of did them together. So here's the clip of him doing it.
Madre di Dio e nostra, solennemente affidiamo e consacriamo al tuo cuore immacolato noi stessi, la Chiesa e l'umanità intera, e in modo speciale la Russia e l'Ucraina.
So as you can see in the clip, he says that we consecrate ourselves, we consecrate the church and humanity, and then specifically Russia and Ukraine. So the good thing is he does mention Russia. Some people feel, why couldn't he have just consecrated Russia? Like the instruction from Mary 105 years ago was that she wants the Pope to consecrate Russia. Here, again, it almost seemed a little bit like an afterthought, like he didn't want us to go straight to Russia. So first of all, he said ourselves, he said the church, he said humanity, and then he mentioned Russia and Ukraine, and he added Ukraine. Now we know that the bishops of Ukraine wanted the Pope to consecrate Russia and Ukraine, so he did. I don't know. Some people are not too happy with the way that was worded. They feel it wasn't precise enough in terms of it being Russia, that being the key thing, or the key country that needed to be consecrated. The good thing is he did at least mention Russia. I know there was an attempt at consecration in the past where just all the countries in the world were consecrated, and then the explanation or the excuse was, well, Russia is one of the countries of the world, so it was consecrated, but that wasn't proper at all. In this one, though, I think it was certainly a lot closer to what it should have been. In an ideal world, would the Pope have just consecrated Russia alone and that's it, and not added anything else? Maybe. But at the same time, I suppose the argument could be made that just because he added other things to the consecration, it doesn't mean that it makes the Russian consecration void or anything like that. So that's just a quick comment on that. And now I want to move on to a few controversies, or at least a controversy that I know has been around for some time, and it's the controversy related to Sister Lucia. So some people think that the Sister Lucia that we have seen for many decades, or the one we saw for many decades, sort of towards the end of her life, the second half of her life, wasn't the actual Sister Lucia. They think it was an imposter. Honestly, I disagree with that. I'm not telling those people they're wrong, because I don't know for sure, but I don't agree with such a theory, and I did put it in the comments as well under a previous video. I just think it's very far-fetched. I don't see the reason why they would do it. For example, if Sister Lucia died a natural death, why would they need to create another one who was an imposter? There's theories going around that they killed the original Sister Lucia and then put this imposter in place, but once again, I don't see why they would need to do that. If they were concerned that Sister Lucia was saying things or being told things, or saying she was being told things by Mary or even Jesus that they didn't like, certain truths maybe about the church, they wouldn't need to kill her. I don't think. They could just say that she's lost it or something. They could have done anything really to disregard her or to sort of try and ruin her reputation, whatever. They didn't have to kill her. I don't think they killed her and replaced her with another Sister Lucia. Now, I know sometimes people compare photos of Sister Lucias. They say this is the original and this is the imposter. So I have some of those photos here for you. Let's go through them. So here's Sister Lucia quite early on, I think, after she became a nun. And that's how she looks. And then we have another picture of Sister Lucia. This is from 1949. Sister Lucia. And there, she looks like this. Now, that picture of Sister Lucia, I think if you then take a picture of Sister Lucia sometime after that, where the way she looked when she met John Paul II, for example, I could easily see the 1949 Sister Lucia being the same Sister Lucia as the one who met John Paul II. Now, from what I've been seeing online, from the bit of research I did, people think that the Sister Lucias were swapped in 1958. So therefore, the 1949 was still the legitimate one, according to them. And the one who meets the Pope, as I said, later on in life, the one that we sort of recognize with the glasses and stuff, she looks to me like she could be the same one from the 1949 picture that we have. I know that here's another picture of comparing the two of them, suggesting that the original one has kind of wonky teeth. And the second picture on the right there, she has nice teeth. So that's supposed to be seen as evidence that there's no possibility that Sister Lucia could have had braces or... I mean, again, for me, one of the key things I try and look at when people make... when people have theories like this is, what's the motive? You know, like if you're saying, oh, somebody's lying about something, okay, well, what would be the motive? Do they have a reason to lie about something? And in this case, it would be, what would be the motive for them to swap Sister Lucia's and put in another one? And I don't see any motive, I really don't. I think there's so many ways. If they really, for some reason, were concerned about the original Sister Lucia and felt, no, we can't have her anymore, and wanted to sort of push her out of the way, degrade her, and sort of make her not significant anymore, I don't think they needed to get rid of her and replace her with another one. That's my opinion. I'm not a fan of this conspiracy theory. I'm not saying every conspiracy theory is incorrect. I think some conspiracy theories could be correct, and I think some conspiracy theories have some truth to them at least. It's very easy to brush. Every time someone has a bone to pick about something, it's very easy to brush it off and say that's a conspiracy theory, and I don't think that's fair, because sometimes there are at least grains of truth in some of them. But in this one in particular, I disagree. And just to move on from Sister Lucy, there's also this other thing with the whole third secret. I know people have probably made loads of videos and written about this. There's people who think that the third secret wasn't revealed, it's been hidden. That might be the reason also why they think that Sister Lucia was gotten rid of, because she told them the real secret and they didn't want to reveal it, so they got rid of her. Here's a little piece written that I want to read a little bit from, that I think makes some sense. All the more irksome for Fatima conspiracists is the uncanny way that the vision matches the interpretation offered by the then Vatican Secretary of State Cardinal Angelo Sodano at the time of its public announcement in 2000 at the behest of Pope John Paul II. Sodano associated the vision with an assassination attempt made against the Pope, in which he had been shot down on May 13, 1981, the very anniversary of the apparitions. His would-be assassin had been trained by the Bulgarian secret police, whose mission to kill the Pope had been ordered by none other than the Kremlin itself, a fact verified by an Italian parliamentary commission in 2006. Given that the vision of the third secret follows the second secret's warning of persecutions caused by Russia spreading her errors throughout the world and causing persecution and suffering for the Church and specifically the Pope, a more precise fulfillment of the third secret could hardly be imagined. And that's something I agree with. It would be a heck of a coincidence if on the date of the apparition the Pope was shot. and that wasn't actually the secret at all. That wasn't the thing that was being talked about in the secret. I know in a previous video I was sort of not completely sure as to whether that was fulfilled, whether that was the thing that was talked about, but to be honest, I feel more and more that it was, that the Pope being shot was the thing that was talked about. And after he was shot, and he had that blood transfusion that didn't go completely right, he then suffered, I don't know if this is just a theory, but I think it's fairly generally accepted that that was part of the cause why he had health problems, and then he developed Parkinson's. I don't know whether he developed Parkinson's because of that blood transfusion, but he certainly developed it later, and he suffered from that for many years. So yeah, I think some people just really look for things, and I'm not saying that the church is a squeaky clean, and I'm not saying there are elements in the church that might be up to no good. I'm just saying that I don't think that Sister Lucy or Lucia had a counterfeit version of herself later on in life, and I do think that all the secrets were revealed, and I think the reason it took so long for the third secret to be revealed was because it was a little bit dodgy. It kind of said like, well, these terrible things are going to happen, and it's kind of a very doom and gloom thing, and maybe the church was uneasy about revealing that to the people because it could cause a lot of panic. But yes, that's what I wanted to say in today's video. I know some of you may disagree, and that's absolutely fine. This is my opinion, and hopefully some of you agree as well. Thank you very much for watching, and see you again soon.